Morning, everybody. This is Stephen Pugh. I want to do another installment in my little book, The ABC. Okay, do you remember I said that ABC is a very simple thing? We learnt it at nursery school, but there was a lot of stuff at nursery school that we never learnt. A lot of stuff that we learnt at Sunday school that was not really what we needed to know in life. So we're going to look at the ABC again. And A in chapter 1 is for apple. I want you to remember that. A is for apple. I've deliberately constructed it in this way so it's easy to be able to remember it and easy to be able to repeat it. And when we look at the word apple, we see the first letter is A, and then the next one is P, and then P and L and E. And we're going to use those five letters to be the main points of this chapter. So chapter 1 is A is for apple, and the A stands for the little phrase aim for fruit. Now there are so many books written about goals and objectives, okay, and they're all very good, and I endorse them all. I don't have a problem about goals. However, I have come to realize that life is not a list of goals achieved. You know, you don't get to the end of your life and say 523, hooray, I've scored 523 goals. No, life is not a game, okay? Life is not a game of football. Sure, there are jobs to be done. There are things, there are tasks to be achieved. But life is more like a garden than a game. Got that? Life is a garden, not a game. Let me explain what I mean. You're not just a goal scorer. You are a person that grows and develops and matures and reproduces. And when God made Adam and Eve, okay, he didn't put them on a football pitch. He put them in an orchard. Now do you see? The aim of Adam and Eve was not to score a goal and certainly not to score goals against each other. The purpose of Adam and Eve was to grow and to maintain and to have the benefit of things that grow. That's the point. It was all about trees. Now, what would you think if you went to visit a gardener and the garden was just a mess with everything all over the place and weeds everywhere and no vegetables planted and no fruit trees around, nothing to eat? You would think, this person has no plan. They have no plan. What would you think if on a Monday morning you took a survey of 200 cars travelling along the road near you, where you live, and you asked every single one of them the same question: where are you going? And from every driver the answer was, I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it. Now, what would you think? They must be crazy, right? Because the engine's running, but there's no sense of destination. There's no plan. Okay. So you're like a gardener. You are like a gardener standing in your own allotment. Now, it may be full of weeds at present. It may need manure. It may need to be completely overhauled. But before you start, it's important to sit down and take a long time to think about what sort of garden you want it to be, what sort of fruit you want to grow. If I can give you a word of advice here, aim for fruit. Aim for fruit. Aim to grow in your life something that will be beautiful, something that will become the thing you sit under, that will bring satisfaction and feed your soul. Now, it's here where the analogy of goals breaks down completely. Our life is not a series of actions. Our life is organic. It's something that grows. It's something in which seeds are sown and cultivated and watered, and they eventually flower and burst into a multiplication of fruit that will bring benefit not only to yourselves, but to other people. Our life does not only consist of what we do, it consists of who we are. It's not just a series of actions, but it is skills and it is capabilities that are cultivated within. Now, if you're a Christian, remember that God is not just interested in what you do. He's interested in what is the fruit that will be manifested in your life for God. And Jesus said famously, he said, by their fruits they are known, by their fruits. And he talked about the fruit of the Spirit, love and joy and peace, etc., etc. Now, they're much more important than any actions. If I was wanting to examine you, which I have no right to do whatsoever, but if I needed to examine you, I wouldn't be saying to you, well, what have you been doing? I would be saying, who are you? What is the fruit that's in your life? It's not just good works that God is interested in. He's interested in good character. Okay. Now at this point, you will need your first book. Do you remember I said you need 7 books to run your life? Well, you need your first book. And book number 1 is the Orchard book. Okay? This is the most important book on your bookshelf. It's more important than even your diary or your cash book. It is the very hub of everything. And you will refer to it more often and it will never be finished. It'll never be finished. It's a place for ideas. It's a place for dreams. But more important, it's a place where you plan your orchard. It's the list of your objectives. You need to think about what you want to achieve and who you want to become. Now try to be very specific. And remember that if you don't know what to plant and don't get started soon, then the seasons are passing and the weeds will keep growing. And if you don't have a clear plan, well, the weeds themselves, they have a very clear plan of their own. Okay. Now, one of the secrets of the life and the ministry of Christ and his apostles is that they understood multiplication. Okay. Which is fruit bearing. I mean, you plant a tree and it bears an apple. When you cut the apple up, you find it's full of pips. And every pip is another fruit tree. It's multiplication, you see. And at the very beginning of Christ's ministry, he chose 12 men to be with him. He had 12 men that he was going to cultivate, each one. Now, they were all different, and he would feed, and he would cultivate, and he would encourage every one of them to bear fruit. That's the purpose. And they would learn, and they would grow, and they would develop in character and in attitudes to become like Christ himself. You see, the apple, he bears a pip, but the pip becomes another apple tree, and Christ was reproducing himself in 12 other men. Now, you will need to go and find that person. You will need to get that person to teach you, to disciple you, to explain to you what you want to learn, that you will find out how to do things, yes, and what you want to become successful like them. You'll be amazed at how gifted and talented people love to share their wisdom and insights. Now, later, you will have the opportunity to find people that you can empower and teach these principles of life. And if you're already successful and mature and willing to share it, then go and find young people to whom you can give your advice and encouragement. And don't forget, we're looking for fat people. What I mean by that is you're looking for people that are faithful, that are available, and that are teachable. Your task is to teach them what you know and to train them in your skills and encourage them to teach others also. You might teach 3. The Lord Jesus had 12. But you might just teach 3, who in turn teach 3, who in turn teach 3, who in turn teach 3. No, the record player hasn't stopped here. It's called multiplication. Now, if you'd have done that, what I've just said in that sentence, you already will have helped 120 people. So why is that? Do the maths. Because when you train 3 people, and you do it for just 2 or 3 years, and then you start on another new 3 people, and then after another 3 years, you then start on another 3 people. But you see, all the people that you're teaching, they also have 3. And after 3 years, they also seek another 3. And the result is explosive. It is how life works. Now, next time we have a video like this, we're going to talk about P. Now, you know what A is? A is aim for fruit. P? Well, you'll have to see the next video to find out what that means. So we look forward to catching you on our next installment. Have a great day, and bye for now.